Hello and welcome to Chess with Simon. I'm Simon. Well, we've got some inbound challenges. We've got an inbound challenge from Ninja Jamir. I wonder if this is connected with the video or it's just a random challenge. Anyway, looks very good at chess. So should we accept and see what happens? I mean, generally in life it's good to accept and see what happens, isn't it? So how do I do that? I go like this, I go like this. I'm white, it's my turn. What do we do as white again? Do we do e4? That's a new idea, isn't it? Let's play e4 against this ninja warrior and see what happens. Okay, now this one, gosh, when we first looked at this we said, oh, King's Indian, it doesn't need to be sharp, and then we saw the classical, I said, oh, it's going to be sharp, and now my opponent's played this, which is very clever. So there's two ways to handle this. The wrong way to handle it, I think Sam Shankland has pointed this out in his repertoire video, but the wrong way to handle it is to sort of go ahead with the kingside attack as if the king was there, because you do all this sort of stuff, but then at some point you realise the king's not actually there. So it's not a great idea actually, and white does well in these lines. So that's one bad idea. Another idea, which I played in a similar against Peter Wells, which I enjoyed a lot. And I prepared this because Peter Wells plays this bishop e3 move at this point, and you go like this, and you go here, and you go like this. You go here, and then you play knight h6. And I just thought, I don't like these positions. Takes, takes, queen d5 check. King h8, just pushing the king from the centre for the endgame. And I just thought, well, I mean, actually that bishop on g3 is quite bad. That's why white starts to break it out. But I just thought, I don't really like these positions either. So, consequently, I'm going to do something which, well, the thing is, I love a complex King's Indian with counter-attacking chances. But also, I don't know what to do here. I don't really want to do the knight g4 thing. I don't really want to do... You can, I suppose, do knight bd7, can't you? What then? I don't know, d5? No, I don't want to do it. This is what I'm going to do. Okay, so this was a good move, this bishop e3, because it's made it hard for me to work out what to do. But I'm going to take on d4, and it's a completely different kind of game. I think Tony Miles used to do this. I've seen Magnus Carlsen do this, not in exactly this position, but very similar positions. And you know, I think Stockfish is doing this in similar positions, because it's basically drawing, but it's a different kind of draw. It's a more solid draw with fewer counter chances for black. But you know, can't have everything in life. Horde coach. Okay. Attacking the pawn on c2, which I'm going to advance, but it's only a matter of time till black breaks through to the back rank, and the question is, can white suffocate black in that time? And the answer is not really. I take here. I've got plans for Horde Coach's next move, but I'm not going to say, I'll say, okay, this is what I'm going to say. My opinion is that although I think black is winning this, and although I've already produced a zugzwang from white, one has to be accurate in the next 2 or 3 moves, and I do have a plan, which I may have revealed in previous videos. This one, I have a plan, which is to take the pawn, defend the bishop, claim I'm a pawn and a piece up, and I might play e5 at some point, defending the bishop, and I might put the rook on b5 and put the bishop on d4, and then swap the rooks off. So that's feeling good. It's feeling like it's going the right direction. This one, v Keith, I put the queen in the way. We've talked about this before. We're heading for an endgame where black has the 2 bishops and so may have a slight edge, although I suppose white has more pawns on the queen side. It's been a very correct opening. This one against Liam, I'm claiming this may be a draw, because it's quite hard for white to win, although clearly white is pushing for a win because white has more material. This one against Justin, I've really deliberated over this. I don't want to swap the queens off because the queen and knight are powerful together, and because I think black's better in the endgame. I don't want to play c5 because it puts all my pawns on dark squares, which is bad for the endgame. So by process of elimination, I think that means I'm taking on taking here. And let's see how black takes back. This one against Gary is going to be fascinating. Okay. So I suspect with best play, black wins this. But I also think, well, it's my job to try and defend it, isn't it? Bishop could go there. Your move, sir. This one, I recently said how good the bishop was on this square. So bishop d7 is going to seem odd. Yeah. This one, I think I've got a winning ending, and I think there's two different ways of winning it. One way, what I'm trying to do is cut the black king off, and then for my king to shepherd through the passed pawn against the black rook. But we'll see what black thinks. Oh, black's seen that coming. Really good. Well, I suppose it's rook c2, isn't it, to stop the side checks, but I'll need to think about that, because I learned very early on not to rush these games, because I rushed a correspondence game and got involved in some silly stalemate or something where, you know, or someone found a drawing tactic. I just thought, you know, I was a lot better, and I just thought, I'm never rushing them again. The whole point of correspondence is you don't need to rush it. That's exactly what correspondence is. This one, I think we're looking for swap-offs here, aren't we, really? We're looking to drive that knight away, and we're looking for swap-offs. Okay. Rook e7. I want to put a rook on d8. I want to do a lot of things. By the way, I'm recording this in Glasgow, and I'm in the city centre, so if you hear anything in the background, that is the sights and sounds of Glasgow. Okay, so this maybe? I don't know, I'm going to have to think about it. Have I got 2 days? Oh, come on, let's just play something. Let's be brave. I mean, how wrong can this be? Not that wrong. This one, okay, this one's the game against Stuart. I'm glad to say he's played c4. I mean, obviously, one could have played against the London system. I think we promised to play e6, didn't we? And we promised not to play c5 and try some sort of Benoni stuff. I'm fascinated to see if Stuart goes for the Nimzo, Queen's Indian, or the Catalan. I don't know. I'd guess that Stuart would play the Queen's Indian, but that's a guess. But that's my guess, because he's a positional player. That's my guess. We're going to find out. Are we done? Are we done? Oh, there's this game against Ian, look. And there's one against Gareth. We're not done. Oh, and there's this game too. Here, we're going to play here and try and swap some things off, because if we don't get the queens off, then I'll take that pawn. Here versus Gareth. Ooh. Okay, complex, right? Is it knight d2? Is that a move here? Knight d2 is a move. Sort of idea is you put pressure on that knight on h5. Where's that knight on h5 going to go? That knight on h5's now got a problem. It's going to go somewhere, isn't it? I'm not sure if I'm ready to play g4. Well, I guess that's the concept, is it? I didn't know about that. I mean, what? There's some kind of kingside attack, is there? Yikes. Okay, well we'll think about the kingside attack, but for now knight d2 makes sense to me. Whether or not I'm going to follow that up with a kingside attack will need some reflection. But we can send Gareth a move for now. I suppose in a way, if that move's got consequences, I should have thought about it, but I haven't. I think you've got to take the knight, haven't you? I think that was a good move to take on e6. Now, well, I think black's got more of an attack than white, but white's defensive resources are pretty good. Very hard to predict still. This game against Nick, bishop e3, right? I don't like the look of b3, doesn't make much sense to me. Bishop e3, let's say bd7, let's say rook c1, castles. It ends up with f4, does it? g4, oh boy. Okay. And why do we play bishop f2? Why does all 70 players play bishop f2? I'll let you know next time, but for now I think bishop e3 is a nice developing move, and I think rook c1 is natural, so I'm comfortable with that. In some of these lines, e5 is a tactic that wins a piece. If the reason queen c7 was a good move is because if you play something rubbish, e5, and then takes, you take the bishop, they take the knight, you take the rook. It's a winning tactic, but queen c7 stops all of that. So I think we play bishop e3. I mean, it's not hanging a pawn, because the point is, and I think there's a Fischer game where they do this, after queen c4, rook c1 is catastrophic, because there's all sorts of discoveries and there's all sorts of knights landing on c7. I mean, I don't know if anyone plays queen takes c4, but I wouldn't imagine. You know, I think this is the point. And now, where does black go? Because the great threat is this. You know, if you just do this, it's this. I mean, that queen may be trapped. You know, check. Etc. So, that doesn't worry me. And soon the rook will go on c1. Well, it certainly will if I'm playing. And so, it puts a stop to all that stuff. Is that everything? I think that's everything. I want to know what Stuart's going to play now. Stuart, what are you going to play? Just let me check I haven't overlooked anything. No, we've played quite a lot of moves tonight. Sometimes I'll play bullet for, 4 hours. And you work out the number of decisions you've had to make in 4 hours of bullet. And you just think, wow, the human brain is truly is an amazing thing. And many of those decisions, some of those decisions are all right, actually. Okay, that's that. Okay, next stop is chess.com, which I've just closed accidentally, which is bad. So we're going to reopen it. Okay. Right. The first is we've been challenged by Fluffy Cat. Now this is a big thing, because Fluffy Cat and I have played before, and we've played a bullet game, a 1-minute bullet game. And I'm going to give you a quick taste of this game against Fluffy Cat. We could devote our own video. Okay, spoiler alert, I won. We could devote our own video to it. Firstly, I think this is mathematically the worst move for white. I think the engines say that now. It's much worse than things like f3. d5, bishop g2, c6, because often you get pressured on that diagonal. g5, develop the bishop. Engine doesn't like it, but whatever. Engine doesn't like that either. Takes en passant. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to just whiz through this game at bullet speed against Fluffy Cat, and what we're going to see is this. White attacks my bishop. I don't realise. I lose my bishop. I put my queen on a silly square. We then harass the white queen. Harass, harass. And then white gives me the queen. Very generous. Takes a rook. I take a rook. No one knows what's going on. We've got a queen for a rook and a minor. The knight comes through there. I notice a checkmate is possible. Basically in bullet, if you've got one idea, you just go after it. I take there. This looks really frightening. It's a checkmate. If you move the king's rook, then white can still fight on, but this doesn't work because it's checkmate. Okay, so that was that. And for what it's worth, I myself have won quite a lot of bullet games with the Grob because it's mathematically not very good, but there are some clear ideas you can play with the Grob, and in a 1 minute bullet game, there might not be time to think everything through in what might be an unfamiliar position. Okay, I accept. So, what colour am I? White. Shall I play the Grob? I don't think it's really respectful. I'm not going to play the Grob. I'm going to play... Okay, so Fluffy Cat likes complicated positions. I'm going to play knight f3 with various ideas in mind. Also, it rules out the Borg. I mean, you know, so that's a good reason to play it. You could also play d4, which basically rules out the Borg, which is the Grob reversed. Alright, knight f3, Fluffy Cat, do your worst, or do your best, or something, whatever we say. This one, so we've got an advantage here. So I'm going to lift the rook. I've looked at this, and I've decided that lifting the rook is a good idea. And just developing an attack on the king's side, just trying to mate on the king's side. This one, okay, so my e7 pawn is hanging, so I'm going to defend it with my king. I'm a pawn up. Get the king closer to the centre. In a sense, we like chess moves that achieve two things. I'm going to take here. I've got plans. I think I'm a bit better in this, although I don't think I'm winning. But I've got an idea about... I've at least got an idea about how I might try to win. Which is something... If it's a draw, it's fine, because I think we both go through at the top of the group. Here, I'm going to back off the bishop. If people have realised why, then well done. I've got an idea. Yes, I do. I have an idea. Okay, next. I'm going to swap the queens off because I've got less space. I don't think it's a great move. I think white's still slightly better in this position, but I think I can still draw, and right, that's enough. Here, I've got two extra pawns, haven't I? And I think that if you do this, you win by force. Because rook takes on b4, I take on b6, rook takes, I take on f3, lock the king out, and then I think my king can shepherd the d pawn forward. So I think that's good. Rook's rule. Should we have a look at how we're doing in Rook's rule? I'm battling out with CL and Puffin. I think I'm slightly better in our games, though, but we'll see. Well, that's what I think. I think I might win one of them. I might win both of them, but I might win one of them. But we don't need, in a sense, don't need to, because I think we both go through. It's just a massive practice in rook endgames. Okay, take the knight. Bishop's attacked and the pawn's hanging on h5. So I think white's... you could take with the bishop as well, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to pick up a pawn, and I've got a better king position. And I'm going to say, that's nice. Oh, this one, I've got a plan. I've got a plan, which is reasonably deep. I've got a slightly better structure, right? Should we show the plan? This is my plan. Okay. Here, 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 stops the break, backs off. I mean, I'm making this up. Here. Now I can do this. You know, I mean, obviously, this is not all forced. And you sort of get around the back, right? You sort of get around the back. Yeah. I can break through, and I don't think white can. I think that's the point. Now, clearly, that wasn't all forced, but there are some zugzwangs, and so I think black has prospects, although I don't think it's certainty. Here at e6, develop the bishop. There's only one game in the database in which black wins. This one, I'm going to play h3 to give the king some air, and I might be suggesting I'm going to play g4, although that will need some thought, because that's very committal. And maybe I won't do that. I don't know yet. But h3 I think is alright. I mean, it creates a weakness on g3, but it's alright. Okay. Against Josh, I'm going to give him a check. I don't think I'm winning by force here, but I still slightly prefer white, but it could be a draw. Don't know. But I've got plans for... I think that king has to go to d6, right? I've got plans when it goes to d6. Against Aaron, shall I play the Latvian gambit? Shall I play knight c6? Let's play knight c6. See what she's got. Alright, fluffy cat. Now, there's a tradition that I do a tactic at the end of this, but I'm not feeling it tonight. I don't want to do it. But, you know, what do they say about going to the gym? The most important part is showing up, right? And even if it's 12:43. Let's see what happens when you do a tactic but you don't feel like it. Okay. So, that knight is attacked right in front of the king. So we could attack it again, but then you've got knight c3, which seems to defend it. You could take it with the rook. The king takes back. You could then check with the queen. Okay, so king takes. I mean, I actually think taking that knight with the rook is going to be correct. Take with the rook, check. And then the king, then you play queen e7. Then the king goes somewhere, then you play rook e8, and then I think... So let's look at an example. Takes on e2, king takes, queen e7 check, king d1, rook e8, and next move is you're mating. Well, hang on, the king cannot go to... Oh, I think this is right. I just feel it. Right, because the point is king can't go to d1 because of the fork on f2. Now what? So the only move, so queen e7, I suppose the king can flush out onto d3, but no, it can't because there's a check on f2. I mean, this is correct. Now rook e8. You see, I didn't feel like I wanted to do tactics tonight, but I was wrong. I did want to do tactics tonight. So rook e8 takes the knight. Queen e2, king g1. Then what? Then what? So maybe rook e8's not right. Maybe there's a different move in the position. Maybe... If we play rook e8 and they take the knight, queen e2, king g1. Or maybe king... Oh no, it's just king e1. I think it's fine. I think we're going to take everything. I think you just check at the back. Yeah, okay. So, that's a good move. Check at the back. King g2. Check on f2. King h3. Now what? So we're a piece down. Check at the back. King g2. Sorry this is taking forever, but this is real life tactics. Oh, I don't know, it's got to be check at the back, hasn't it? Most of this stuff's so instinctive, you can't even explain it. Queen f2, king h3, and then queen at the back. Does that trap the queen? Is that what we're meant to do? I think that's what we're meant to do. Queen f2. No, it's not what we're meant to do. Should we retry? What were we meant to do? Were we meant to do this, and is it mating? I don't know what I'm doing, do I? This, and then this wins the queen, does it? Is all I've got to say. I mean, should we do one more? Are we gluttons for punishment? I'm only doing this because it didn't work out the other one. Okay. So, there's equal material on the board. I don't know what opening this could have come from. Doesn't look very familiar, does it? I don't have any idea. I mean, I suppose you could argue that after queen h5, that bishop is trapped on h2. It's completely bizarre. Yeah. And then you've got to work out what to take with, and I assume if you take with the rook, the check on g1's really unpleasant. Stroke, really unpleasant. So we take with the queen. Okay, we're back to where we were. Let's call that a day, and we've learnt a bit maybe. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. I'll see you all soon.